So this should be exciting to be able to take a look at this one versus this one, and we compare them. We look at it. Looks like we're looking at test scores. That's what teachers do often, is they look at data and they analyze the data based on all the test scores that come back in the grade book, that kind of thing. This is called a double box and whisker plot. Represents the test scores for your class, blue, and your friend's class, red. All right? So your friend's class scored a little less. From first glance, I can tell right now, there's the middle of the data, little lower scores on the other class. But what about this one? Little higher scores, right? Identify the shape of each distribution, okay? This one has same size of whisker here, same size of whisker here. So that means that 25% of the data is here, 25% and 25%. If they look like they are fairly equally spaced, then that means if I had a dot plot of this red class, it would actually look something like this. Just a few people down here and a few more. And a dot plot means that there are some people, we try to keep the dots pretty consistent. There's a lot of people that scored in this middle range, 50% of the people. And then less people scored over here. So you notice so this would be kind of in the middle, and the middle would be about an 80%. All right? And what would be the name of this kind of shape of distribution? Well, we call this a bell curve, or a what we call normal distribution. Not too many here, not too many here, but a lot in the middle. Okay? And that's a normal distribution. Okay? We also have skewed left and skewed right. Okay? And skewed left would look like this, where we have right and left, and the tail means that there's a peak on the other side. So this means that because the tail is on this side, that means we have a lot of outliers possibly. A lot of people that scored on this far side that isn't with the main clump. The main clump is here. That would be our average or our median a little. Median would be a little bit right there. Average would be here. The average, we do X bar to represent the average or mean. And then right over here we call this skewed. And then that would be skewed. Oh, I don't know my right and left very well, apparently. This is right, and left would look like this. Here, let me change the color, because this is the blue one, right? The blue one means I've got the tail over here. A lot of points that are more spread out in this direction, which means there would be a couple dots here, but not very many dot plots. And then the clump is right here, in terms of our dot plot, okay? Dot plots just have a dot on every value, and then most of the data is here, but there is some data that's over here, okay? Which means the majority of the scores were about an 85 to 100, like that's pretty good, with a few scores that were down below. This is called skewed left, because there's my right and there's my left. Okay, so this is skewed left is what we would call that. Okay, skewed right looks like this. And it says identify the shape of each distribution. It's either more like this, or more like this. They tend to be in one of those categories. And remember, we call this one normal. And normal just means it kind of has a tail on this side that matches a tail on this side. Okay, so this one would be normal. And because of this right here, it matches this one, which means it is skewed left. Okay? Part B right here says, which test scores are more spread out? Explain. More spread out, it doesn't ask you necessarily more like higher scores. It doesn't say who got the better scores. It just says on the overall spread, which one has more spread outness to it, okay? Just by glancing at these two, it's obviously your friend's class is a little more spread out. Why? Because range. Range is all about, yes, somebody got 100, but the low score is more spread out on this one. Okay, so there's a 40-point distribution here. 100 minus 60. 100 minus 60 gives us 40. Well, over here we have 100 minus about, I don't know, 67 or something. Like that. Okay, so that's a little less spread out, more spread out. Okay, even in here, more spread out, right? It's a little bit more evenly distributed where the middle score is at an 80. That's our median. Remember, median, quartile 1, quartile 3 is right there. And this is our minimum, and this is our maximum. Okay? That helps us compare two different box plots together on the number line. Thank you.